So a thing happened this week, and I want to talk about it in two ways or from two different perspectives. The first thing, actually, there's a couple of things that happened in sequence. They're all related. So the first thing is I've been involved in a fantasy football league with some guys from my church. It's been a decent experience um, on account of that I work on Sundays. And so I haven't been able to keep track of sports because I can't watch them. So I've just been kind of letting them slide by the wayside for the last little bit. But because I've been doing this thing with these other guys, and just I've been paying more attention than usual, which is a low standard to begin with. The team that I like is not a good one, so right. Anyway, I ended up being this season's champion. I ended up winning out the whole thing, finished with like an 8-5-1 record and such. But so the first part of this is I've been confused as to like what do you say about this? Even throughout the season of like how do you say like oh you did really good or you did really bad or you like this kind of thing because no matter what the score is, I did nothing. I didn't do anything. Yeah, there was some decisions to be made, who to start and who to sit and such like this, but at the end of the day, someone else was the one that was sweating. Someone else is the one that was under the lights. Someone else is the one that did the real work. And somehow I've benefited. And so I think there's an analogy here for us to use in terms of Jesus. He did all the work for salvation. We benefit from it. This is all over the New Testament, the way that the double imputation, that he has received my sin nature so that he could redeem it, all that. Like there's a lot there, but I've also been interested and like kind of confused by how do you celebrate a win to which you contributed nothing? Like, yes, I had to decide who to start and sit and yeah, sure, fine, whatever. But I did nothing. Like, let's be honest. I did nothing. And especially nothing of real consequence. And so, how do you celebrate something like that? How do you say, yes, I'm the champion when I did nothing? And so that's something I've been contemplating for a while. But a lot of this was the brainchild of one of the guys that was in the group, friend of mine, newer to our church, part of the worship team, and he was talking trash from the outset, and his team was awful all season long. Just his team did not perform. He ended up losing more than half the games and such. Like he didn't turn out so well. But in the week after everything was over, he sent this TikTok to the group chat of guys in which it was like this is your sign that you should have a paintball lion hunt 9v1 for punishment of whoever came in last. And the person that came in last didn't do very well, but again, fantasy football is just that. It's fantasy. Nobody did anything, well or ill, that contributed anything to the success. Like, it's a whatever. So that's the joke he made. And it's framed like a joke, but he's at least half serious about it. And we have to rope in another condition. I live in the Midwest, and so we have a lot of hunters that go to our church. It's deer season that just ended, and so probably a good dozen men and women, to be fair, from our church have done the thing throughout these last muzzle loaders, crossbow, bow hunting, rifle, whatever, right? So they've throughout the season they've been out multiple times, maybe even every weekend, doing this thing that's part of the culture. Nothing wrong with it. I don't have any issue with it whatsoever. But almost none of them, I don't think there's a single one of the men from our church that actually brought something back. They all ended up coming up short, coming up empty-handed. But here's the deal. They all had pretty good humor about it. A couple of them actually hit deer with their cars and sort of like, man, if I would have known that, I would have saved on the ammo kind of thing. Like, they had a good sense of humor about it. Except one. The same guy that was kind of being kind of douchey about the whole fantasy football thing, because he was talking a lot of trash beforehand and then just raging, throwing tantrums and such throughout the season because his team was not performing up to his standard. And then eventually he just kind of dissociated due to his lack of success. Same thing. And everyone's having fun about it. And a couple of guys are like, I didn't get a deer, but I spent some great alone time with the Lord. I got some great time with my Bible out there, with some, or whatever. Like, they got other benefits out of it. Spent some like good community time, good shoulder to shoulder time with other brothers in Christ that they knew and such. Like, they got other benefits out of it. They just didn't get a deer hide. They just didn't have an antler to rack up and such. So, not the end of the world. And in a lot of ways, like, it's a living creature, right? It shouldn't be a guarantee. Like, it wants to not die, more so probably than you want it to be dead, so that you can bring it home and you do whatever you want with it. But so it's not a guarantee. It shouldn't be settled as a certainty from the very beginning. But he's been really petty. Same guy again. Real petty and not taking the humor well. Of guys are like, man, maybe if you try something else, and things like this. And just, someone made a joke, like he would get upset. And so in the chat, like, since we're talking about doing a 9v1 paintball hunt, couldn't help it. Threw in the chat, well, maybe we should have the guy in a deer costume. So the guy, so the one that came up last, like, maybe he'll have a chance. Maybe he'll finally find his dead eye and such. Maybe he'll have a shot. And he private messages me afterward, like, can you just not, gosh. And I'm just, take the joke. Deep down, like, I didn't respond this way, but deep down, I was just, take the joke. Like, you're allowed to make fun of someone's underperformance in fantasy football, threatening physical harm, which is what paintball is. Like, fine, whatever. He can back off it as a joke, but he really didn't mean it as less than half of a joke. You can make fun of him for that, but you aren't able, like, we're not allowed to make fun of you for your lack of success in this other thing. Just not taking things so seriously is the point. Like, I don't understand why someone doesn't have the ability, because I can laugh at myself for sure. I've done a lot of things not well. I've done a lot of things less well than I should have, per se. Like, just reality sets in, and things don't go quite as well as you wish they always did. Just life happens. And you move on. Like, if you don't laugh at yourself, guess what? Others are going to laugh at you anyways. So you might as well just join. Just have some fun with it. When you take life too seriously, the only thing you rob yourself of, well, actually, there's a lot of things you rob yourself of, but the main thing you rob yourself of is really just joy. You can enjoy things you're not good at. You can find joy in the things that you don't succeed at. You can find other benefits to the things than what you intended. So I guess my appeal to you is, from a champion, such a silly accolade to begin with, but from a fantasy football champion now. It's okay to laugh at yourself. It's okay to come up short. It's okay. It is. Just get them next year. Or get them next week. Get them, and it's okay to have a sense of humor. It's not quite a crime just yet. And remember, they're going to laugh anyway. So you might as well just laugh with them because you're not going to stop them from laughing at you.